Sal Paolantonio with me here on a Sports Bash Thursday. Sal, welcome aboard our Thursday show.
Oh, thanks a lot, Mike. I'm getting myself mentally and physically ready for Jaguars-Titans tonight.
I guess this one will continue the ratings slide when you put that one on a Thursday night.
I have a feeling my wife is going to ask me to officially join the ratings decline demographic.
Well, I will tell you, tonight might be low record lows. Sunday night, you might get the best ratings of the season with this one when the Eagles take on the Cowboys.
Yep, there's no question about it. This is one of those games where the Eagles can make a heck of a statement around the National Football League. I think the Cowboys are the best team in the NFC.
I would concur with that when I did my rankings yesterday. I have them right now just behind New England in my Fine Five, and I look at the way they run the ball. Ezekiel Elliott, 703 yards, first rookie running back with 4 straight 130-yard rushing games, that offensive line. This is going to be a tough task for Jim Schwartz, who last week we talked about they need to blitz more. They did it, but how do they defend this Cowboy team?
How about that, Mike? We talked about it last week, you and I, on this very program. I said if they're going to beat Sam Bradford, he better get out the blitz playbook that he left at home when they got on the train and went to the Washington Redskins, didn't I? I said they absolutely had to do it, and they absolutely did do it, and it was the difference in the game. But this is different because Dak Prescott can move, and that makes Zeke Elliott a better running back. I think it's one of those major misnomers that you're going to be able to just take out Dak Prescott and plug in Tony Romo and have the same offense. First of all, you're going to get with Tony Romo, you're not going to run any zone read option runs at all. One of the reasons why Zeke Elliott is a superior back in such a short period of time is because the quarterback is a threat to run. That means you must dedicate a hat on defense to Dak Prescott. If Romo's behind center, you don't have to do that. You eliminate the zone read run option, A. B, he's not a threat to run at all. So you don't have to dedicate somebody on defense to Romo, which means you got an extra guy to tackle Zeke Elliott. It'll have a domino effect, without a doubt, because I'm going to give you this number. I'll tell you why it's going to have a domino effect. Zeke Elliott not only leads the league in rushing, he leads the league in rushing yards after first contact with 298. So, I mean, the evidence, the scheme, the matchup, the personnel, it all points to having Dak Prescott remain on the football field, and he has made Zeke Elliott a better runner. Now, the guy's good. He's a one-cut superior runner. He's a very good blocker. He's obviously got great hands coming out of the backfield. He's without a doubt worth the fourth overall pick. There's no question. So, I mean, this is a tough matchup for the Eagles for a number of reasons, and one of the biggest ones is Dak Prescott can run the ball if need be, and that really means you cannot blitz him. You can't. It's tough.
Yeah, this is a tough one for Jim Schwartz because, I mean, last week he was successful, but he doesn't like the blitz, and that's something that maybe falls into his wheelhouse this week. I thought Jordan Hicks played maybe his best game of the season in that role, making the tackles. But Marcus Smith, he set the edge. They funneled everything back. They had a really good game plan for Minnesota, but everything changes. And a lot of it, Sal, is because of that. They had
a good game plan, Mike, because Sam Bradford doesn't move.
Exactly. But a lot of it this week, that offensive line, this is where Minnesota, you could get after Bradford because their line was so bad. That's not the case this week. This is a different story.
Yeah, you got 3 first-round picks, and they just play well together. They're well coached. They got great chemistry, and they've got great components around them. Witten, Des Bryant. Let's not forget Cole Beasley, who's turned into a mini Edelman.
Mm-hmm. And the Beasley thing is tough, too, with Ron Brooks out, because now you got Malcolm Jenkins sliding down there. He struggles with these smaller, quicker type of slot guys for Malcolm Jenkins. You wonder if they're going to go with a different direction. They're going to leave Jenkins in that slot this week.
I don't think that they will. I don't think they'll put Jenkins on Beasley. I really don't. I think he will struggle there. I think, we talked to Malcolm Jenkins yesterday at NovaCare, and he said to me, we're still playing around with our nickel package. It's not set in stone.
Okay.
They haven't figured it out yet. And that was a signal to me that they are rethinking the whole idea of putting him on Beasley.
All right, so you got Mills, you got Watkins, you got a couple options back there. Ron Brooks out for the year.
None of them, not really. None of them really great either, Mike.
Sal, I think you talked about this with Doug yesterday at his press conference. Wentz off target, has not been the same quarterback the last 3 weeks. I guess some of that has to do with Lane Johnson, some of it maybe mechanical. What did you learn about Wentz's last couple of weeks when he has not played as well as he did the first 3 weeks?
Well, I did ask Doug Peterson about Wentz's inaccuracy. The numbers bear it out. His first 4 weeks, his off-target percentage was 9.9%. In the last 2 weeks, the number of throws off target is 34%, which is highest in the NFL, Mike. So I asked Doug Peterson. He gave me some very good, honest, specific answers.
Yeah, he went in depth.
He said that, yeah, he did. He did. I'll give him credit. He really did. He went into depth where a lot of head coaches would not. He said he's misaligned with his footwork, his hip, and his shoulder when he throws to his right, and that's why he missed wide-open throws. He also said that he's not real good right now in situational down and distance, which means he's forcing throws at times when he shouldn't be. So these are important things. Hey, Mike, I mean, is he regressing? No, he's not regressing. He's going through rookie growing pains. But when I asked Wentz about that, he said, I'm not interested in the rookie rationale, the rookie excuse. Forget that. I want to win football games, and I want to win them now. And I just love that answer from Carson Wentz.
Yeah, very mature kid, no doubt about it. Sal Powell with us here. He also referenced your question when asked about the tight ends, because he was asked about why the production at that position's down. And with the wide receivers, more on that in a minute, but with the lack of production from them, they seem like they need to get production from the tight ends. Is this the kind of game, where they can do that? Because he kind of referenced your question as to why the tight ends have not been as involved.
Yeah, and I thought that was also a very thoughtful answer. And they're thinking, and they're trying to scheme their way into better tight end play. But the bottom line is that Wentz in the short and intermediate area right now is very inaccurate. And he's always been inaccurate downfield. So they got to fix the kid. They certainly do, because they don't want him to regress. You saw the number, right, Mike? He was 0 for 7 on passes of 10 yards or more. He was the only quarterback this year to finish a game without completing a pass over 10 yards. Only quarterback in any game on any team.
And that kind of leads us in where, wide receiver, they're talking, the trade stuff's out there. He squashed it yesterday, said he's happy with his guys. But
he shouldn't be.
Does it behoove them to get a guy to help fix Wentz? I mean, does it help them help Wentz to go get a guy?
Yeah, Mike, you know what? That's one answer from Doug I didn't like. And, I've been very praiseworthy of him. I think he's been terrific. I didn't like that answer. I think he should have said something like this. Hey, we're always looking to upgrade our football team. I can't talk about specifics, but my front office is always looking to upgrade my football team now. What does that do? It puts pressure on your roster, right?
Right.
And it also is the truth. They went out and got Dorial Green-Beckham, did they not? So I don't think they are interested in Torrey Smith. I think the price is probably too high on Torrey Smith. And that's why Torrey Smith on Twitter kind of, squashed it on Tuesday. When he was, his wife is from Conshohocken, Pennsylvania.
How about that?
And he was on, he was on Twitter because he was seen in the area, and he was saying, boy, it's awkward being around here on Twitter, he was saying, at a time when there were rumors. So there must have been, for him to react like that, there must have been a little bit of truth to the backroom discussions, or else why would he even react like that, right?
That's it. That makes a lot of sense. And he's the kind of guy, why he's a one-trick pony, he's the one trick they need, and would make sense at this point of the season because you wouldn't have to teach him the whole offense. Just go out and run, down the field and let Wentz kind of, you go try to catch what he throws down there. Just kind of see if you guys can connect. You don't have to teach him everything. Unlike DGB, where you've tried to teach him the whole offense, the whole route tree, and it's taken him a little time. He would make sense in that capacity, right?
Yeah, well, when you study the film of the last 3 games and you just look at the wide receiver core, okay?
Yep.
Aguilar's rarely open. Matthews is only open on the underneath stuff. Ertz has only been targeted with 3 balls in the last 3 balls each game in the last 3 games. And then Dorial Green-Beckham, last game he only had 2 catches for 8 yards. So, and the stats will bear out what you see on film. Jordan Matthews leads the Eagles in yards from scrimmage, right? That's good enough for 75th
Yikes.
in the NFL.
Did not know that.
75th. Darren Sproles is second in yards from scrimmage for the Eagles. He's 77th in the NFL.
That's unreal. I want to ask you this.
That is unreal. When and when the Eagles scored in the third quarter on Sunday against the Vikings, it was the first time in 22 straight offensive drives that they had scored a touchdown. 22 in a row. And that's the longest streak in the NFL this year by a lot.
Wow. Sloppy game, too. A lot of turnovers, back and forth, ugly. But here's interesting. The last 3 years when you and I would talk, Sal, Chip would tell us the time of possession doesn't matter. The Cowboys and the Eagles are top 3 in the league in that area. They both want to control the clock, run the ball. Philly, to me, one area where I look at them, Peterson, Andy didn't have wideouts here, but he had Brian Westbrook, and that covered a lot of things. Doug doesn't have Bryant Westbrook, and they're struggling to figure out who to go to. What do they do offensively against this Cowboys team? Both teams want to control the ball. What can Philly do to control it?
It's going to be difficult. And you're right. That's a great point about Westbrook. He had Donovan McNabb and Westbrook, don't forget.
Yeah, well.
Donovan McNabb, we like Carson Wentz, but he's not Donovan McNabb yet. Not by his long shot. You're absolutely right, and I don't have an easy answer for you. I'm not going to sit here and advise Doug Peterson on what to do because that's his job and he's a head coach, and we can talk blue in the face about it. But I do have one specific suggestion, and that is he needs, in my view, to get other running backs involved more. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
I think Smallwood and Barner must be involved in the game plan more. I think Sproles needs to be lined up in the slot more.
I like that.
Line Sproles up in the slot. Chip Kelly and Doug Peterson, they view him as a running back, but he's really, in my view, a mini wide receiver. He's like almost a Danny Amendola.
Not a bad thought there. Sal Pal here with us. All right. Before we let you run, the Eagles are seeking their 4th straight win in Dallas. And, people don't think about that. I don't think it hits them because Dallas has come into Philly and beat them in some pretty important games. But the Eagles, this would be their 4th straight win in Dallas on Sunday night. How do you view Sunday Night Football this week, Sal?
Well, I view it as the same way as you do. The number is what, 4.5 now?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a Cowboys line. That tells me that there's a lot of money going towards the Cowboys. And the Eagles haven't really beaten a quality opponent on the road, although if Ryan Matthews holds on to the football, they're 5-1. So they're fully capable, I think, of beating Dallas. Whenever you have a rookie quarterback and a rookie running back, they're going to make mistakes. one of the reasons why I picked the picked the Eagles over the Vikings to you last week.
You did.
As I said, I thought the Vikings were due for a bad game, and I thought that they could attack Bradford. The problem with this particular game is, Mike, I don't see a particular weakness of the Cowboys that the Eagles can exploit or expose, because the Eagles don't have enough firepower offensively in their passing game right now to expose a bad Cowboys pass defense. And so while I said last week that the game was in the hands of Jim Schwartz, I think, I'm going to flip the script on you, Mike, I think this win is in the hands of Carson Wentz. He must play much, much better. They must have a much more efficient, productive, mistake-free passing attack in order to have a chance in this game. I think it's not a control-the-clock game. Again, I'm going to flip the script, and I want you to remember this. I think it's an attack downfield game, get an early lead, and force the Cowboys to abandon Zeke Elliott. That's, to me, the way you steal a win. That, to me, is the way you do it. Attack. Be aggressive. Neutralize Elliott's importance to the team on the other side of the ball. At least make them think, boy, we got to throw it to keep up with the Eagles. If I were Doug, I would make Wentz into the hero of the game, the possible hero of the game. That's the way you win. It's the only way you win it. And by the way, I always like to do this on Friday, but I did it a day early knowing I was going to be on your show. I called the NFL to find out who the referee crew was on Sunday night. I usually don't get it till Friday, but I asked for a favor. I said, listen, I'm going on my normal show. Instead of Friday, I'm going on Thursday down in AC. The referee crew is Jerome Boger.
Oh.
And Jerome Boger leads the NFL in penalties called per game. Number one, 20.8.
Yikes. I know Boger well. He did the Monday night game last week, and those flags are flying. Woo!
That's a yikes, Mike. That's a yikes. That is a yikes. I had to get that for you, Mike.
I love it.
I had to get it for you.
Sal, I like the game plan too, and we saw last week the Eagles' defense performs best when they're in the lead and they can come after you. That's when Shorts likes to dial some things up. Great stuff again. Of course, the Eagles and Cowboys right here on 97.3. Sal will be on the game, of course, covering it for ESPN as the Eagles-Cowboys rivalry renewed for the 111th time. Sal, enjoy the game, my friend.
All right, great stuff, Mike. I'll talk to you.